Hi, this is Jorge, and in this video I'm going to show how to create a simple Unreal project and how to commit it to Bitbucket, all using the command line. Okay. So the first step, create the simple Unreal project, blank, no starter content. This is for a very simple example. I'm going to name it Git Unreal Test, and we create it. And then in the terminal we see all the work that Unreal is doing, and we're going to wait until it's done. Once the project is up and running, first thing we do is we just save it, call it new map. This creates a content folder which just has this new map in it. And now we move to the terminal. Okay, so from the terminal, now we're going to move into the folder that has our new project, right? So Git Unreal Test. Here, if we look at the content right now, we see it has the default stuff. We create a Git repository, just running the command git init. And if we run git status right now, we see that we have 4 folders. Amongst them, we have the derived data cache, intermediate, and saved. We don't want to keep any of those. We don't want to keep those, but we don't want to track them with Git, right? So the first thing we need to do is create that .gitignore file that is so important. I already have one downloaded from Epic's GitHub project for Unreal, so I'm going to use that one. Remember the dot before the name, so .gitignore. Now, if I run git status again, now I don't see derived data cache, intermediate, or saved, right? Anything in those directories will not be tracked by Git from this point forward. First step is to share this .gitignore with anybody else that might be working on this project. So we commit it. We do git add .gitignore. And we give it a message like initial git ignore file. Okay. Now we commit everything else, right? So we do git add config content and git unreal test u project. If you run git status now, you see everything that is here staged to be committed. So git commit, a simple message stating why we are committing this initial version of the project. Okay, good. We are up to date. Here, this message when you run git status, the first thing that tells you is what branch you're working on, and there is nothing to commit at this point. So now we go into Bitbucket, and we're going to create a new repository. So you click on the plus sign, create repository. We're going to call this git unreal test. It does not have to have the same name as the repository that we created locally, but it makes sense, so let's do it that way. All right, and here we have the relevant steps that we need to upload a local Git repository, right? The one that we created locally into my hard drive, right? So we take this command. Basically, what it's doing is adding a URL here for the remote that we're going to call origin from this point forward. And then now we're going to push to this new remote everything that we have as the latest for our master branch, right? So this is saying git push to the origin, which is the URL of the Bitbucket repository, to its master branch. So our master goes to the origins master. This switch here is saying that from this point forward, our local branch is tied to the origins master branch, right? So whenever we want to update the origin masters, we'll just do git push. But the first time we need to specify, what is the connection between our local master and the origin master, right? So I enter my password. Okay. If you run git remote -v right now, it shows you all the remote repositories. Right now we only have one, which is origin with this URL, and is the origin for both pulling and pushing. Okay. Now we go to the Bitbucket web UI and we refresh. We see that we have our project here. It only has one branch, which is the master branch, and it only has two commits. The one where we committed the gitignore file and the one where we committed the initial version of the project. See these IDs here. If you click git log, this information can also be accessed, just like that. Now, let's say now that we want to add a feature to our game and we don't want to disrupt in the work that is going on the master branch. The rest of the team might be working on it, or even if we are working on this project as a solo developer, we might not want to break the master branch just in case what we're doing doesn't work. We always want to have a stable version of the project that we can resort to if need be. So what we need to do is create a new branch. So let's call this new branch new feature. Okay, and if we now run a git branch, it tells you now that we have two branches, master and new feature, but we are currently on master, right? So to switch to the new feature branch, what we do is git checkout and the name of the branch that we want to set as current. Okay, now we switch to git branch. So if you to branch new feature, so if you run git branch again, it tells you that we are on new feature. So we open Unreal. And here, let's say we want to add something to our level. So we're going to add a cube, we're going to add a sphere. As I saw in a different tutorial, we have a sky sphere, which is used to control what the sky looks like. So here we can, for example, just change the position of the sun, so that should give us a sunset, right? So if we change the orientation of the light source, let's make it point up like that. Yeah, like that. So now it should be nighttime. To make any change, so any changes that we do to the sun affect the sky sphere, we need to come back here and click on this button. So there you go. Okay, so this has been a minor change, but we save it, so updates the map. And now we go again into the terminal and we run git status, and it tells us that there is a modified file, which is the new map.umap. So let's say we add it and we commit it, and we say updated the sky sphere to display a sunset level. And now we're going to push it. Now, if we just do git push, we haven't really tied this new branch to the repository, right? So we need to do git push -u to origin, and the name of this branch is new feature. Right, so if you run git remote -v now, we see that this branch is also, no, actually you need to run git branch -v, I think. Yeah, we see that there are two branches. And now if we go into the Bitbucket here and we refresh, we should see that there are two branches, the master and the new feature. And it says here that the new feature branch is ahead of the master branch by one commit. So now we're still in git branch new feature. So what we want to do now is update them. We are happy with the changes that we've implemented, so we want to merge this into the master branch. So we do git checkout master, and first, before we update anything, we make sure that we have the very latest from the Bitbucket repository, which has you know, any might have changes that the rest of the team has made to this project. If you are working by yourself, this wouldn't be an issue. But what you do is just do git pull and update. It's already up to date. So now we merge the branch new feature into the master. So you have to be currently on the master, and then you call merge, passing as argument the branch that you want to merge onto the current branch, which is master. Okay, so we do this. Okay, and this shows you all of the branches that we have. We're up to date. Now we want to push these changes to the to Bitbucket, so we do git push. Okay, and if we come here now, we'll see, if we go back to branches, we'll see that both the master branch is up to date with the changes that we had made through the new feature branch. Right? Now, if you want to, since we've already implemented this new feature and we've merged it into master, it might make no sense to keep this branch around. So what we're going to do is we're going to delete it. So for that, we do git branch switch, the name of the branch that we want to delete. That's good. And that's it for this video. Bye.